This training is on provider appointment scheduling. So to add in a provider time to my schedule, I'll simply click where I'd like that appointment to exist. That'll bring up my Create New Appointment box. Rather than doing a patient appointment, I'm going to do a provider appointment. And so provider appointments, you can set these up and customize them through your clinic menu under the clinic setup. And the provider appointments are not patient specific, but are intended to either, block off time for the provider or show, when you're going to be in or out for the day. So I'm going to indicate that this provider is now reserved, and then I can choose a specific time and a duration, or indicate if this is going to be a recurrence. So for example, if Todd is going to be out of office at 3 o'clock for 60 minutes every week on Tuesday, and then I can choose to end that after a certain number of times or after a certain date, that would be a good use for the recurrence. And then a comment would show up next to any appointments within this recurrence for Todd. So for example, if I'm going to put reserved for golf, then when I hit save, that would show up next to each of those recurrences for that provider. So, and again, if I need to edit that appointment, then I just click anywhere on that appointment, and that'll bring up the appointment box to make modifications. This training video is on scheduling in the ClinicDr application. So we're signed into the application and on the home page, which is the scheduler. And to add in a basic patient appointment, all we have to do is click where we want that appointment to appear. And with just one click, we're at the Create New Appointment box. So we have two tabs here, the Patient tab and the Provider tab. And the Patient tab is really for any patient type appointments that you've created in your clinic setup under the scheduler settings. And to start, we just indicate which patient this will be for. So I can type in at least 3 characters of the first or last name, and then I'll bring up all the corresponding accounts with the matching characters. Category can be changed here, and again, these are just customizations that your clinic has put in for your clinic application. And whatever category is chosen will reflect the default time duration, but that can be manually adjusted. If this is going to be a recurrent appointment, meaning it's going to repeat for future dates, we'll click this. And then we'll be able to indicate how this is going to repeat. So for example, if this patient is going to be coming in specifically on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the same time, we can click there, and then we can choose to end after either a certain number of visits or after a certain date. So for example, if this is going to be a 12 visit treatment plan, I can click that and end this after 12 occurrences. And notice the recurrence summary. Anything that I put in the comments box here will show up next to the patient's name on the scheduler. And so, for example, if I'd like to indicate on the calendar that this patient should have rehab first, I can type that into the comments box, and then that will show up next to every single visit for Lindsay training. For checking in a patient, all we have to do is click on the visit. Anywhere except right over their patient name will bring up the Edit Appointment box. And from here, I can choose to mark them in as a no-show, a cancellation, or arrived. I can also make modifications to my repeat recurrence. And so, for example, if this is actually only going to be a 10-visit occurrence, I can change that and save, and then indicate that that's going to be applied to all my visits.